we are going to talk with Greg. He's going to tell us what's new about Deductible Defender, what's new in your world. And I know that Roberta had sent out an email yesterday because, and I'll let you describe what's going on and why we have to kind of re-enroll. But in the chat, that link is in the chat. If you need to kind of urge your contract agent to complete that, so you have your own dedicated URL. So,
Robin, can somebody post something in the chat? Because I don't see it as an option. That's why I even stopped sharing my screen. I have people raise React View. It's not under the More tab.
And you don't have chat?
I don't.
Roberta, do you have chat? Can you put the link in there?
I can email it to you real quick too, just to make sure. But it's weird. Usually it's there and it's easy to find, but I don't see it.
I've got it, Greg.
Okay.
All right.
I can't wait to see where it pops up on my screen, where the chat shows up from. I usually use that all the time. Anyway, what do you do?
All right. Well, I know that Jim put chat is working.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you can see the chat and your chat is working, will you just give me a smiley face or a yes or a no, everybody? Just want to make sure that we don't have a snafu and that the chat's not working. Okay, thanks, Maddie, Josh, Jessica. Okay, so it looks like it's there. Roberta's going to put that link in. All right, well, tell us more. Tell us more about the link, Greg. Tell us more about Deductible Defender and what's new. And if you're not selling this product, why we should be, and why we should be selling more of it.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks for the opportunity, everybody. Appreciate your time. We are knee deep in relaunching kind of Deductible Defender 2.0, and we've been taking feedback from all of you on, hey, it would be nice if the system could do this. Do we have ways to take more than just debit and credit card payments? The renewal process, we need improved communication, all of that. All of those things are part of this new platform. So as far as the why, there's going to be that step for your agent to go in and kind of create their own sub-affiliate link. That will feed all of these new enhancements. And it's going to give you the ability to include that link right in all your marketing, all your emails, maybe your email signature line if you can get that approved. But all your email communications and things go out. That specific link would lead any customer that clicked it back to you, so you get credit. And that's the nice part, because again, the old way, you had to remember to enter in that producer field a manual entry. These pearls, the personalized URLs or affiliate links, will track everything back to that agency principal. So it makes it real easy for reporting. There's additional reporting features that are going to be available where you'll have access to your customers. We are in the process of migrating old or previous customers into that. That'll take a little bit of time, but eventually that will all be there. We knew there were some shortcomings of the old legacy Assurance Plus, who's the administrator of their portal. Part of it being payment methods. We will have the option through some ACH direct debit for the full amount, Klarna for monthly payments, things like that. So all of those are part of the new system. It is live. I have a call coming up at 2:00 with our developer for one little hiccup we found yesterday. So that hopefully will resolve all those, because it's always a work in progress with technology as people go live and start using it. But once your agent gets set up, has their own sub-affiliate link, that's for everybody in the office to use. But all that all the new enhancements will be there. We're also adding communication that we're going to do ourselves, because if you're on the lucky end of all the emails from us with the list of were they on auto renew or not, these are the ones that are highlighted. Here's how you handle those. Very manual on our part. All of that will be automated, where we will be kind of a AAA model of assuming everybody is going to auto renew unless they go in and choose not to. We'll have multiple communications to the customer leading up to their renewal 28 days and 14 days. The agency will be copied on those as well. So they'll see it. The customer will be able to go in just using their email address, change their payment method, update their payment method, update their credit card, try Klarna if they want to break it into monthly payments, cancel their plan altogether. Really, really easy self-help for the customer. We know more than likely they're going to call you. So you'd be able to, either over the phone or if they happen to stop in the office, the new way without passwords is they get the 6-digit code emailed to them or something. So they can give it to you over the phone. Super easy. That's the hope. We're also, when plans are sold, we will automatically be copying the agency principal on those. So it's easy for you to then put into your agency management system, where in the past, if you clicked out of that screen after you hit confirm and purchase too quick and didn't see the receipt or anything, you're like, oh no, what do we do? How do I get that? In the old model where Farmers Union Agency, the state office had access to the reports and some of those, most of those calls came to us and the support team would send those out. That is all still available, but with you getting copied on it right away, that should help eliminate some of those concerns. So more payment options, better communication at renewals, the sub-affiliate links, those personalized URLs to track things back, which do allow better marketing. We have tried many times different campaigns with folks, putting things out there. I think a few people on this call have even tried those, where Alex and the team would have some of those automations built in. This will really help, I think, provide better results with that, and a better willingness for all of you to participate. Because in the past, again, it's like, hey, I'm going to mail to my people here that are clients. But if they would forget to put in, hey, this came from Grant Davenport, we had no way to track it back, or it became a manual process. Everything is going to track back to those personal URLs, which should make all of that much cleaner. So lots of stuff coming. It's live, it's ready. Pretty easy process. You can tell the primary agent in your office, if they click that link, should take less than 30 seconds. There's not a lot to it. And then they'll get an email from us with that sub-affiliate link for them to share with all the staff. So pretty easy process. Has anybody gone through it? Good, bad, indifferent. We do know that sometimes, especially Outlook, gives us issues parking it in spam, but it's usually there, and you can always reach out to support@deductibledefender.com and we can get those resent or forced out to you. But anybody start that process or go through it yet, or any questions? All right. A couple of things. We covered most of these already. That dashboard and some of those things will be really helpful. You will notice June 1st, some of you have already, there was a rate increase on the all vehicle protection plan, which did affect the bundle. Last year, as we were talking with the hail and the tornadoes and all those fun things around here, and not just in Minnesota, we actually had a Farmers Union agent in Jamestown, had $6,500 of deductible reimbursements from us with the storm that they had out there last June. So definitely have believers from a lot of our agents that have gone through the claim process and saw how powerful that is, which is great. We're still running 93, 94% approval rate on all claims that are submitted. Usually it's a paperwork issue, or could be a repair reimbursement in the first 30 days. Because remember, there's a 30-day waiting period on the vehicle repair or the home appliance and electronics repair reimbursement. In our 3 years that we've been around, we've paid out over $1 million already, which is, to me, is good validation for the product. When you look at some of the other things that people are pitched, not necessarily by insurance agents, but in the dealership office or by their financial institution or all these other things, and they get on these subscriptions and they never use it, and they actually hope people don't use it. That's not how it works with these products. I mean, they are designed to help people in their time of need. Let's look at maybe raising some deductibles. Obviously, even Dave Ramsey says that's the first thing you should do, which sounds great. But unless you fully follow Dave Ramsey's plan and have the 3 months of savings set aside, which a lot of people struggle with, having that higher deductible now becomes a very painful process of, ooh, how do we do this? File the claim, get reimbursed, and everybody's happy. The rate increase on the all vehicle, we feel confident that that will be sustainable because January of 2025, when we did the rate increase on the home protection plan up to the $249, that handled last year's claims as planned within our tolerances. So we feel really good that that same adjustment on the all vehicle plan will be something that hopefully these rates are locked into for quite a while. Again, validation on people using it, which is what you want, makes you feel good. And especially if you're helping somebody with a claim, and then you get to remind them that, oh, don't forget you have Deductible Defender. Let's get that process started, get some documentation submitted and get that deductible back. Get all of or a good portion of your deductible back. It's a pretty easy conversation, and it's a nice feel good of why we do what we do and why we offer some of these products. All right.
Greg, this is Roberta. Can I interrupt for just 1 second? I'm sure you're going to touch on this, but can we just make sure we hit on the timely filing with Deductible Defender too, just as a reminder?
You got it. Yep, I got some slides on that, Roberta, so we are good to go. Yes, thank you. Again, simple terms of just talking about it. It's an annual membership, deductible reimbursements, unlimited number of $1,000 deductible reimbursements on anything you or the enrolled customer's legal spouse, as long as they're on the same insurance policy, that they have, and they file a claim that exceeds their deductible and they pay it. As I mentioned with Jeff, the agent in North Dakota, 3 vehicles, his camper and his house, he got $6,500 back. So on the vehicles, unlimited number of vehicles, cars, trucks, boats, motorcycle, camper, side-by-side, RV, personal watercraft, golf carts, pontoons, fishing boats, you name it. And in our market, Minnesota, the average number of VIN numbers you insure is probably 5, maybe higher. We get that question a lot of how many is too many. And ultimately, there isn't a limit. As long as the enrolled customer's name is on it, or their legally married spouse that is on the same insurance policy, unlimited number of those. So between the deductible reimbursement and the vehicle mechanical repair, those are about 98% of all of the claims. So don't get too hung up on, oh, how does this emergency travel work? Is it 100 miles? How far do they have to be away? What triggers it? Even the ID theft, which is a really good benefit. That's the thing people forget about. It's really in this space, deductible reimbursement is the primary. And then, oh, by the way, it has a 20% mechanical repair reimbursement. That claim gets used a lot. So think through even yourself in the last 12 or 18 months. Have you ever brought any of your vehicles or toys to a dealership or licensed mechanic for non-maintenance items? After a 30-day waiting period, you're going to get 20% back up to $500 per claim. That's, again, a nice little value add to validate that price point. Home protection plan, biggest reminder, primary residence, not the vacation home or the cabin, not rental properties, things like that. Primary residence, so either on the deck page or their driver's license, that's what we're going to use. Ownership is not required, so they can rent. Obviously, a standard HO4 policy, deductible on personal property, probably not enough value to get too many people excited about it, especially if the landlord is paying for appliance repair or the deductible on the roof, those kind of things. But it is eligible. Farm policies are an eligible policy type, just needs to have the customer's individual name, and it needs to be a personal insurance policy or a farm policy, not a commercial auto. Right? This one too, we get a few window glass breakage claims, but 95+% are deductible in appliance and electronics repair. On the appliance electronics repair, not whole house systems, so not central air furnace, hot water heater, septic, sewer, and not replacement. Remember, then you need a home warranty, which are much more expensive. with there, but we do pay out a lot of those appliance and electronics repair reimbursement claims. Works with any carrier. So if you're quoting my insurance and the customer decides to stay, or I decide to stay where I'm at, you can still sell this to me to get your foot in the door so you can market to them. It follows the customer, not the vehicle. So if they move, you don't have to tell us about it. If they trade in a vehicle or buy another snowmobile or motorcycle, you do not need to tell us about it. It follows the customer. So on the date of loss, can they prove they own it, prove they insure it and had a claim? They're good to go. It's approved in all 50 states. So if you have family elsewhere, you can talk to them about it as well. As Roberta referenced on the claims side, and you'll notice, or you'll see, I know Jim and Roberta saw this as you were getting the initial parts set up for our new platform, and the agent will click on this. They understand there's a 90-day claim filing initiation process, but more importantly, the 180-day submission of all the documentation. We've never had a claim denied for the 90-day, but the 180-day, yes, we have. So don't have the customer wait until all the repairs are done on their roof. Who's going to work on their roof in December, January, or February in Minnesota, things like that. Encourage them. Let's walk through a scenario. You have a hailstorm that goes through, you think you have damage. You are going to tell the customer, go out, have somebody come to your house, have a contractor come, see if you have hail damage. Yep, you come back a week or two later, I have hail damage. All right, we'll get the claim started. Not a problem. Here's what's going to happen. At that time, initiate the claim with Assurance Plus. Open it up. We know it's going to be a claim. It exceeded their deductible. And we get the deck page and proof it's their primary residence. Then as the settlement letter comes in, you upload that. And then it's just proof of payment when the work is completed. If the work is going to take more than 6 months from the date of loss to be completed, all the customer needs to do is call in and say, I can't get a contractor here. I can't get materials. They can't get the right color shingles. So I'm going to need a whole roof replacement, but I'm still working on it. Or I'm in Minnesota, it's cold, nobody's working on my roof. Whatever the reason is, they'll keep that open. They did that a lot during COVID. I can't get contractors. I can't get materials. They are used to that. But it is different than your homeowner's policy, which is almost exclusively where we run into an issue with this. Initiate the claim early, get in what documentation you can, and then the customer just has to advocate for themselves. And if there's a delay, they need to call in and they will gladly accept it. I just talked to an agent today, not on a claim situation here, but they were looking for an update. And he called in. He said, man, I talked to Will at Assurance Plus. They were great. They're really easy. And I'm like, well, again, they're not adjusting claims like you're normally used to. They're processing expense reports. Do you own it? Do you insure it? Did you pay it? Yep. Check the boxes. You're going to get your money back. It's pretty easy. But that 180-day filing requirement has caused some issues. And that's why we definitely are addressing it. We built it into the onboarding process for the new personal URLs, all of that, just to make sure everybody is aware of it. Once everything's submitted, they're doing a great job, 7 business days or less, to say, hey, there's either more info we need or here's what's happening. But they do a really, really good job of getting those turned around and that money back in the customer's account. So kind of the 30, 90, 180. You got 30-day waiting period for repair reimbursement benefits. Everything else is day one. 90 days, get the claim started, but most importantly is the 180 days. Any questions on that? All right. Who's it a good fit for? We've talked about this a lot. Short answer, because I think most of the names on here, you've all seen and heard me go through this. It's still to this day our #1 sales tip. Talk about it. Let people know you have it. Have some of the marketing materials lay around. Build it into your quoting for new business. Build it into your renewal conversations. In the information that Jim sent out with that marketing kit, there's a template for a way to build it into your quotes and comparisons. And we're open to any feedback or redoing those if you need some help for your agency. We'll gladly do that. But the #1 sales tip is talk about it. You've heard me say before, Farmers Union agent, Lance Olson or Shelby Olson and Lance Gullison in Lisbon, North Dakota, population 2,200. Combined, those two consistently do 15 to 20 a month. Shelby 1 month last year had almost 20 by herself. All she does is talk about it. And she's like, Greg, I don't want any of my customers to have a claim and not get all of or a good portion of their deductible back. I would feel horrible. That's it. Talk about it. All right. Last couple of little things here again. The premium savings. If you are quoting new business or especially on renewals, when's the last time you've been excited to talk renewals? Hey, we've got an option. We can look around. I can shop some higher deductible options. That's what that quote worksheet kind of walks you through. On average, you save $180 per vehicle per VIN number per year if you raise those deductibles. I've heard from some people on motorcycles, it's even higher than 180. So again, based on the carrier, based on their driving record, all those things. But my budget pitch, this last little bullet, and then I'll wrap up. Let's say we're in October, which I believe is Life Insurance Awareness Month, or all of a sudden you're getting pressure from everybody. Hey, we need to sell more umbrella liability policies or XYZ widget, whatever it is. Trying to free up money in somebody's budget, use Deductible Defender to do that. Hey, I have health insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, my auto insurance, whatever else they have. How can I save $50 a month to buy that $100,000 life insurance policy? Or how can I save $10 or $12 a month to get that umbrella liability policy? Let's look at raising your deductibles. Add Deductible Defender, get their net deductible down to 0, and free up some cash in their budget. Especially now, gas prices high, inflation's high. We notice it when you go to the grocery store or anywhere else. Life is expensive. Let's help people stay protected and be that trusted advisor for them, but help them find some savings in their current budget by maybe looking at some higher deductibles, especially on their vehicles. Quoting it, we have many agents that have doubled their new business win rate, boosted their retention by 5 or 8%. Lock that customer in. The more products per household, the stickier it is and the better lifetime value you're going to have out of that overall relationship. Deductible Defender gives you a lot of tools to do that. Look through all that marketing material, all that stuff that was in the email Jim sent out. Best option for support, use the email, support@deductibledefender.com. There's a bunch of us that monitor that. That's probably better because last week, I think it was last week, what day is it? Wednesday. Yeah, last week I was in Bismarck for the Farmers Union North Dakota, South Dakota Insure All meetings. So I'm out, I'm busy. If you try and call me or whatever, it may not get to me in a timely manner where we can't get back. For those of you that have reached out to support, it's usually within minutes, not days. So we definitely pride ourselves on that. But support@deductibledefender.com is probably your best option. All right. Any questions from anybody? Anything I can help you with? And if you haven't looked, you can go to deductibledefender.com. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your agent to get themselves set up using the link Roberta posted, here's the new checkout process. So the all vehicle plan, one thing we ran into, customers sometimes, or agents even, would go and hit both boxes. Oh, I need the all vehicle and the home. We now automatically bump them to the bundle so they get the discount so we don't have to. Again, the old clunky way, we'd have to cancel those and then reissue. We've streamlined all of that. That's much easier, and then move on with that checkout process. So pretty simple, pretty easy, looks a lot better, and really excited to get your feedback on it.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. I particularly like what Greg said about the fact that you don't have to frame it in you're selling another insurance product. You're actually providing a service for your customers to get those deductible dollars back for them at the time of loss. So I think that's a great way to think about it in your own mind as the professional providing advice for your insureds. I love that you have upped your game with the technology. And I feel like if we can really integrate the URL into your conversation, whether that's new business or renewal with your personal lines clients, that this is something that we can just get in the habit of talking about and in our process, in our workflow. So, and we will be working that into documents at the state office as well. So
Perfect.
thank you, Greg.
You got it. Let me know what we can do to help on creating those, or again, that template of that worksheet is just a template. If you like, hey, it would be really nice if we had this, if we had more lines, or could you do this? I'm sure some of your staff has those capabilities, but we can help you out too if needed.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you
All
for
right.
being with
You
us. We
got it.
appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
If anybody on the call has a success story around Deductible Defender, I know that a lot of you are familiar with the product, but there might be some people on the call or just generally that I can share in teams. If you have a success story, please, put it in the chat or send it to me. I would really like to get that in the hands of everyone else. Sometimes it's, if you don't have experience with the product or the process, it's nice to hear success stories from our peers that kind of spur us on to get us going. All right, I'm going to give the floor over to Mr. Jim Hickey, Vice President of Distribution and Recruitment, and Roberta Nelson is on the call, our Personal Lines and Farm Account Executive. I've asked them to join us today because we're already thinking about personal lines and deductibles and all of that with Greg with the Deductible Defender. It's always popular. I know Jim sends out emails giving us updates on our personal lines carriers and what's going on with underwriting and restrictions and that type of thing. But please welcome Jim and Roberta. They're gonna let us know what's going on out there.
It's raining. That's what's going on out there. It's like pouring down. Anyway, good to see
It's
everybody.
not hailing though, Jim.
How's the Hail app, Jim? How's the Hail app doing?
The Hail app is quiet today. Yep. It's quiet. I'm disappointed. So anyway, one of these days it's gonna light. It's gonna light up. I just feel it. So anyway, thanks for joining. Deductible Defender, I'll just close out for Greg a little bit. Real life success story. I'm not going to call the agent out, but we have an agent that used the mechanical protection on the autos 5 times last year. Probably needs a new auto. Probably an indication, right? But the repair part of that, he claimed 20% of his repair bills on a couple of cars. So average age of car on the road today is 13.7 years. Think about that. 13.7 years is the average age of a vehicle today. They're going to have repairs. The repairs are expensive. So Deductible Defender picks up on that. We still got 1% wind hails out there on homes. We still got $5,000 deductibles on homes. Budgets are tight. How cool is it for you to be able to deliver a $2,500 reimbursement check on a deductible? Even if it's only half of it, that insured is going to be an insured for life. So value added service. That's what that comes down to. So make it a part of, it's an easy sale. Make it a part of what, just talking to people. That's all you got to do. And it's good money in it. Okay. Just going to rattle through a bunch of stuff here. A couple of things just happened like in the last 12 hours. So a good reminder. Docks and lifts. It's dock and lift season, and it's also thunderstorming and lightning out there. So, which means wind, which means docks and lifts like to get bent up, go for a ride down the river, get flipped over, or bump into each other. So just remember, most of our carriers have an exclusion for wave action. Big difference between wave action and wind. So wave action is excluded with most of our carriers. There's a couple still ones hanging out there. Secura used to endorse it. They were the cleanest ones. But for the most part, if the waves just bump the dock into the lift, no coverage. So you kind of want to prepare your insureds for that. Second one, cosmetic damage exclusions on dwellings. Almost everybody has cosmetic damage exclusions on dwellings, and it doesn't buy out if you have replacement cost on roofs, by the way. So these would be the trim of windows, siding, and whatnot. We had some full replacement roofs here recently, a month or so ago in an area that got pounded. But cosmetic damage still applies. in some cases. So you just want to make sure your insureds are aware of that, as well as roof payment schedules or ACV roofs. So it's been a couple of years since all these changes went in. We really haven't had the storm seasons that we had before these changes went in. So insureds are going to claim, I didn't know this, you didn't tell me, I don't read my mail. You're going to have to deal with that, and it's painful. So the more you can do this up front, so that when the time comes, you can say, we talked about this, or we signed off on this, or we had this conversation at every renewal, it kind of eliminates that finger pointing and bad conversation. One that just popped up about 10 minutes before we went on this webinar was Angela sent me a renewal that she received from a Progressive watercraft policy that now has a separate storm deductible, named storm deductible. I got a note out to Luke to just clarify, but a named storm is usually a hurricane. So they're increasing the deductibles if the National Weather Service names a storm. So it's 5% of the boat value. So brand new, hot off the presses. We'll get more information out as soon as Luke confirms that, but it read pretty simple on what they sent the insured. I suppose we could make a case. They sometimes name blizzards, right? And if we had a snow collapse on a building, or maybe a boat was sitting outside, it could apply to that if the Weather Service named a storm. These are things I don't know, but just something to be aware of on your renewals. 5% deductible for a named storm. Deductible damage with Progressive watercraft is kind of hitting. I'm going to run through just some changes on personal lines just to keep in mind. So, for the most part, most of our carriers are open to some degree, varying degrees. A lot of them are wide open. Some are still kind of slow rolling it. Certain areas, certain counties, a little bit more tighter, but for the most part, all of our carriers are back open to some degree, right? Nationwide's back. They took an auto rate decrease. I know they had problems with their auto rates. They took a decrease. Probably should be giving them some shots. Let PL Rater do the work on that. But to get them really competitive, they wanted us to keep telling the story. Or for new people, maybe you don't know it, but the best way they're competitive, of course, is multi-policy, which is the only thing they want. They do not want monoline. Multi-policy discounts, pretty nice. Telematics, 15% discount right up front. Earn up to 40% based on how you drive. So it doesn't go backwards. It only goes good. So if you're a terrible driver, you're going to keep the 15%. You're not going to get charged back because, I don't know, you're like Josh and drive through stop signs or something, Anyway, telematics, paperless gets a discount, so they don't have to send a bill in the mail, and your bill payment method. So if you're on EFT or full pay, you get a discount. They also initiated an advance quote discount. I thought it was kind of funny, Josh. Nationwide put an advance quote discount on if you are quoting in advance of 8 days. In 15 days, you can get up to 15%. That drops off over a couple of years, but it gives you the best opportunity. So could a name store be a derecho? Did they name derechos or did they just call them derechos? I don't know. That's a great question. We'll get clarification on Luke. I don't remember if they named derechos or not on those last ones. Yeah, perfect. So the other piece Nationwide has is they have a smart home discount. So Ting electrical monitoring, it's a pretty cool device. They're providing the device and the subscription free of charge, included for the homeowners. It plugs into the wall. It monitors your electrical system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, and alerts you on your app if there's a high draw, a short, an overheat before the breaker trips. If the breaker doesn't trip, it alerts you before that too. So pretty cool device. Westfield has it as well. State Farm is using this. They got some documentations. Westfield said they had 170 saves this year from fires in a dwelling because of Ting. So it's a pretty cool device. You can get that with the smart home discount. They'll send it to you free. They also include water sensors. So they'll include 3 water sensors. You can throw over there a little disc. If you haven't seen them, connect to your Wi-Fi, Everything connects to your Wi-Fi in your home. You can throw it under the dishwasher, under the refrigerator, on the basement floor, and it's going to alert you when things get damp or start to get wet before it gets really wet. So we're kind of going into this era of predict and prevent is kind of Nationwide's mantra going forward.
I'm just going to jump in here real quick, Jim. I believe that Nationwide is paying for it's kind of an app, a service like Ring is. You have to pay for. Nationwide pays for $5, and I believe Westfield for $3.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll probably extend that with the success they're having, I would guess. So, okay, that's Nationwide. Westfield's back in the game. It's been a slow opener. We've had some real challenges with them in the PL Raider, trying to match the PL Raider to kind of their slow opening guidelines. Like they started with roofs 7 years or newer, going real slow, right? And the PL Raider was kind of knocking everybody out. It was knocking you out by zip code. Most of that has been opened up. So Nationwide's pretty much back. But what we've been asked, Nationwide's a little bit more affluent policy, right? The Westpac and certainly the Westpac estate is really for your more affluent customers who have multi-cars, maybe multiple homes, a little bit better quality probably. So Luke Ziegler has asked us, if you think you've got something that fits and you're not getting a rate return in PL Raider, or you think it should be quoted, he wants you to call them because they're open for business. They're trying to write business. And he's willing to discuss these risks. It's an extra step in the process, but Westfield does have a really good policy. So,
what I wanted to point out too, yesterday I sent out an email, and you guys get so inundated with emails that I'm sure you don't all catch them all. But we had an agent reporting on a CF035 error code in Westfield, and it turned out that excuse me, that was error code was only supposed to be turned on for the metro area, but Westfield accidentally had it turned on for the whole state. So that was a new error code that we hadn't been seeing. That issue has been resolved. But if you're seeing the CF010 error code, that's generally a hard stop. But as Jim said, even if you get the CF010 and it's not in the metro, give him a call and he'll work with you on those.
Yeah, they're trying. It's still a little bit more manual process, but they're trying to get this thing back open carefully, I guess is how I'd put it. They did institute an advanced quote discount, 12% on the auto, 5% on the home if you're quoting out 7 days or more. So coverage A up to 3 million. Except for in unprotected areas. They don't use PC 9 and 10, but think PC 9 and 10. So unprotected, we'll just call it PC 9 or 10, is capped at 750. They also offer Ting, paid for 3 years. And then they have telematics also called Mission Safe, 10% up front. And you won't go backwards on that one either. It will only go higher if you're a safe driver like Robin. So, okay. Also new is they've enhanced my Westfield, my app Westfield, or I'm sorry, my Westfield app. This is the consumer app on your phone. You can do, it has a lot more capabilities. Everybody's kind of going to self-serve, right? That's how I kind of do it. Nationwide's got a good one. Progressive is really good. Westfield's got one too. They can report claims, send messages, change cars and whatnot. So might want to get your customers on that. Helps with the service. So I'll let you guys catch up on those. I'll just keep rolling here because in the interest of time. Integrity's going well, really hitting well with them across all lines, actually. Farm, commercial, auto, and home. Just been a really good addition for us the last few years to have Integrity. They are increasing home rates this month, 9% average across the board. They were too low. Probably need to go higher. Like they were really low. So their auto was a little off. They tweaked that thing earlier in the year. I'm not even worried about the increase. I think we won't miss a beat with them. in most instances. The one thing that they keep telling us over and over is they have the interagency transfer discount. It's a click of a button on the quoting site that gives a 10% discount if you control the account. They don't care if we control the account or not. They want us using that on every new business risk. It's really designed like if we had an auto and home in the agency, we moved it over in integrity, that's an interagency transfer. They don't care if it's new business coming in. They want that used. It's giving them a little competitive advantage. We're under single digit usage on that. We're giving up 10%. So if you're off because of this most recent increase, make sure you're clicking on that discount button, interagency transfer discount. Okay, Progressive, they got the push on for those with Progressive Home. Progressive Homes made some pretty big changes in that they're back open. They are writing homes up to 5 million with underwriting approval, 5 million, 1.5 binding authority for agents. Above that, underwriting needs to look at it, but they lowered the percentage deductible requirement from 2% to 1%. They have a push on to bundle auto and home and auto and wreck vehicles. So, and you're kind of seeing that with the incentives they have, the spin the wheels, and just a lot of money being dished out by Progressive. So I'd just say they do a great job until something's broke, right? But 99% of the time it's not broke. So Progressive is doing well. Safeco name sunsetted. It is now Liberty Mutual. The Safeco name is gone. Pet insurance is the last one still with Safeco. That goes away at the end of this month. So that'll be Liberty Mutual too. Nothing's changed as coverage. Nothing's changed on the system, on the portal, on the underwriters. It's just a branding change forward facing. So Safeco's out. It's now Liberty Mutual. Farmers Union, you know what? We're hitting with them. I don't think Rob Pampish is on, but Rob says Farmers Union is in the game on auto and home in his area. It's going to be by territory. Certainly not every case, but we should be giving them at bats. So don't forget about Farmers Union. It's easy to forget about them. We don't talk about them much. We had some challenges with claims and whatnot. And they're not on the radar, but they play a part. So I'd just ask, give them a chance in your area, and let's just see where they're at. And it's not just one, right? You kind of got to give them 10 to know, are we really out on homes, or is it auto, or is it any really kind of individual risk? Western National's doing well. No changes coming there. I'll just move on to farm real quick. For those of you with state auto, the migration is beginning October 1st. There is a webinar that I sent out the invite on for June 23rd. We're going to want maximum attendance at that. If you've got state auto farm business, you're going to want to attend that because this is a process. Liberty's going to do most of it. The farm business is the last piece remaining with state auto. It's going over to Liberty. It's all going to be Liberty branded beginning October 1st. Liberty's added the endorsements they need over from state auto for confinements, poultry, equine, and some other things to be prepared for this. So they're out there now. I wouldn't be quoting state auto any longer. No need to. Otherwise, you're just going to put your insureds, if you write them this month or next month, next year, you're going to put them through another disruption, right? So just go to Liberty. But that webinar, they're going to explain the process. Your state auto customers are going to get a non-renewal. They have to send a non-renewal. So Liberty's going to be quoting behind the scenes that business. We're probably going to have to do some massaging with premiums and coverage. I think they're going to do a good job, but it's not going to be hands off. It never is. So the agents are going to have to be involved. So if you have state auto farm, auto umbrella business, you're going to want to be on that webinar on June 23rd, just to know the process, because those non-renewals are going to start hitting next month for state auto customers. If there's any questions, let me know on that. Otherwise,
Jim?
I think that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
So for state auto, before the customers would get the non-renewal, are they going to talk about on the webinar, will they send any type of anecdotal letter describing the process and the reason why they're getting a non-renewal, or is that up to us as an agency to have those kind of conversations?
I think that's what they're going to explain on June 23rd. We already got a list of customers by agent, affected by agent. Roberta has that. I've kind of tasked Roberta with following up with every agent. I do not want the state auto business dropping off. I would prefer you guys not requote it to Secura. I want to keep it with Liberty if we at all can. If we can't, if there's a reason why we can't, by all means, we got to keep it in the agency. But this is something where it'd be really easy for somebody to say, oh, let's just go to Secura with this, right? Instead of follow this process. We really want to grow with Liberty. They've become the #2 farm carrier in the independent world. I just talked to our counterparts in Colorado yesterday. They can't believe what Liberty's doing out there. So, you know, they play a part in this agency. The last thing I want to have happen is we have this state auto migration and 50% of that goes to another carrier. It should just roll to Liberty. We might have to work with some premium. We got a great underwriter on the Liberty side with Elliot. Elliot was with us back in the Secura days. Elliot Grossi. He works really well with us. So, and they want to keep this business. So there's incentives for us to keep that business with Liberty as well, which they're going to talk about a little bit on June 23rd. So they're going to handle the quoting, kind of that process, but we will have to be involved. But exactly, are they going to send a pre-noticed insureds telling them what's going on? Is the letter going to say, here's what's happening? This is what I don't know yet. So we'll know on June 23rd. So any questions on that?
I just, excuse me, I just want to pop in real quick. I know we don't have a lot of Wisconsin policies, but several agents do with Western National. And effective June 15th, or I'm sorry, July 15th, they're changing over to meet Minnesota standards as far as the 1%, excuse me, deductibles at renewal and all new business. That's just it. They're going to match Minnesota exactly, just so you know.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So we have about, I would say, 18 agency people. This is your time to ask Jim and Roberta any questions that you have. Any companies, farm, personal lines. I know that Jim even, probably could answer your commercial lines. Audra's on the call as well. If anybody has any specific Hawksoft questions, it looks like we have about 10 minutes left. This would be a great time if you have a burning question to share it with the group. Maddie said, what does Maddie say? We've seen
Is the
some
rate
really high
increase,
on the
is the rate
Safeco.
increase on the Safeco homes because of the Liberty Mutual rebranding? Because we've had some that have been over 50%, no claims, and the only thing that has changed is their dwelling coverage maybe went up $8,000, and that's it. And the answer we keep getting back from them is do a loyalty rewrite, which we've done for some customers, but is that them trying to force the rewrites from the Safeco to Liberty Mutual? Because they're pretty high increases.
There was no change in any premiums, actuary figures, any coverage, any endorsements from this rollover. The only change was forward facing on branding, that they branded it from Safeco to Liberty to match their big branding that's going on, that we see TV commercials every 5 minutes and everything they're doing. So to answer your question, no. Now, why is that happening? That's another question that we see it both ways. Safeco is interesting because we're up drastically with Safeco. Like I hear the spotty, like the renewals are crazy, and then the new business going in and the retention is like really, really good. So
new business is great. And even rewriting it is great. It's the renewals are completely out of line.
Could they be forcing somebody to do the loyalty rewrite? I mean, is that their way behind the scenes? They certainly haven't communicated that. I wouldn't put it past. I mean, that's probably the only reasonable explanation. So, their portal supposedly, now I'm not in it every day, but has a good feature where they're touting this, where you can see the last renewal versus the new renewal, and it's telling you exactly why that's happening. Now, Is it transparent like that? I don't know, but that's what they're telling us, is that they've fixed their portal to kind of give you more information at your fingertips.
Maddie, that's the only thing that I've been able to do in the last 2 months either is rewrite it. And I talked to Jim, the territory manager, and yeah, he said the rates, yeah, just use the loyalty thing is the only thing that we can do to maintain it. And it does seem to work, like you said, but yeah, the renewals are crazy high right now with them.
Good info.
There
Maggie,
was a comment that the loyalty rewrites, they were only going to allow a certain percentage of these policies to be rewritten. Has the state office heard anything about that?
No, nobody said there's a cap or a percentage or a number.
If you go into the home that you want to cross sell or rewrite, on the bottom of that like top gray bar, it'll say your agency has, 50 or 90 or whatever. Like it says how many loyalty rewrites, at least mine says how many you can do there.
Which if that's at that high, that's probably most of them. I mean, for most agents, probably not. It's probably based on maybe how many you have in your book, but sounds like a good percentage. Probably also a way to make you rewrite the home, right? In a way, get new information, kind of a little bit of re-underwriting going on there. So anything else? Everybody's just dead quiet.
Well, barring any other questions, while you guys are thinking about anything last minute that you have on your mind, I put in the chat about the PL Rater. So frequently I'll hear Roberta say what shades of what she just mentioned about this code is coming through. Someone's called me somehow, we got X thing switched off in PL Rater and everybody is disconnected and all of the things. So I just want to let you know that if you're having difficulty with your PL Rater, if you're not getting rate back or something is glitchy, or if you just can't figure it out and you're frustrated, please call Roberta, because for some unknown reason, this technology specifically, every once in a while, it just does inexplicable things. We can't figure it out. We've tried to, we've asked questions, we've dug down deep into the bowels of the technology, and nobody can tell us why these things happen. And
well, I'm going to interrupt just for a second.
Yes.
We were having some problems getting enough returned rate for what our return quotes for Westfield. And I dove into everybody's credentials. 12 of our agents who were signed up had their wrong agent codes in there, and they enter those themselves. So I fixed them and then called them and had them make sure their passwords are right and got them all up and running. But if you're not, you guys need to remember that you should be clicking on almost all of our carriers unless you fully know they would never, ever be accepted there. Like you're not going to quote Dairyland for a perfect driver with 4 cars. You're not going to do that. But otherwise, they should be. These carriers are looking for claims activity. And that's the only way you're going to know if they're even coming in ballpark, as if you try. And we all know that if you select 5 carriers as opposed to 2, yeah, it might take you another 45 seconds to do that quote, but then you're meeting your quotas essentially with these carriers, and that's really important right now.
Yes, you said claim activity.
Did I say claim? Did I instead of quote?
I was like, oh, quote activity. We don't want any more claim activity. We want quote activity. But I'm going to concur with what Roberta said. When our marketing reps come in from the carriers, they are pulling out analytics. They're pulling out reports that have quote activity that's coming directly from the PL Rater. So every time you guys are using the PL Rater and you're clicking off those companies, it's getting into these carrier reports, and those carriers are taking note of our quote activity. So I want to thank everybody, because I think for the large majority of the time, you guys are super successful and you're using this technology just like it's supposed to be. I just want you to know that Roberta has become very adept at troubleshooting and helping out with that. So let her know if we are running into difficulty. We're bumping up against 2:30. I just want to thank everybody for attending. Remember, in July, Noemi Rodriguez will be with us from Hawksoft. She's our customer success manager, I think. Audra, you can give me a thumbs up. And she's with us for forever. So she's getting to know our agency. She's a good resource. We're going to really tap into her and fine tune some things on training with Hawksoft. So that'll be in July. And then remember, August is Beth Snyder-Jones from Liberty talking about UMUIM. And then September is our ethics course. So for those of you that haven't completed your ethics or 3 hours, please mark September on your calendar because we would love to have a good attendance there. And that's free, right? Free CE, free ethics. So thanks everybody. If you have lingering questions, please put them in the Teams or send me an email. And I will send out an email when I send out or a survey, when I send out the reminder for our July level up to ask you if you have questions about Hawksoft. So we can talk about those questions and be prepared for our time together in July. Until then, enjoy your summer. Hope to talk with a lot of you in between the time that I see you here and in July. And again, thanks. And don't forget, level up. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Roberta.
See you guys. Thank you.